All right, testing again. One, two, three. Is my microphone upside down? How is a microphone upside down?
Okay, obviously I gotta credit Spoon for this. He's the one that data mined the whole ground battles mechanic that surprisingly wasn't leaked. Okay, it's just one of the few times that the community found a leak that the Legends developers didn't want to happen. Oh my god. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna discuss the mechanic more. Okay, we've gone through the whole week of talking about the mechanic. I want to talk about more on what they're going to do with it, because they're definitely going to reveal it soon. And if they're going to reveal it, it's going to be alongside something hype, you know? So that's kind of what the video's talking about. So let's start off with what the ground mechanic can do. Apparently you can fight on the ground. I know, right? But not only that, you can do moves kind of like Dragon Ball Z Burst Limit, where you can do moves that can transition from the ground to the sky and vice versa. So with that being said, I think a lot of people have been saying, oh, it's just ground battles now. Like you can probably select it as ground battles for a season, or like there's a game mode where it's only ground battles. No, apparently you can go ground to sky. So with that being said, I'm thinking of a few things that they can debut. Like, what celebration, what saga campaign are they going to be celebrating alongside the debut of this ground mechanic? So, comment down what you think, and let's begin. Okay, let's start off with my most hype theory. Broly versus Super Saiyan God Goku. Is that a hype section of the show, of the whole franchise? Probably not. But it's the most iconic thing, because Broly shoved freaking Goku's face into the ice boulder and just dragged his body and threw him. And he did the whole ragdoll Hulk thing. Oh, that was beautiful. That is the best utilization of the ground I've seen in the franchise. That's the most iconic, the most famous, the most hype that I think Legends would do. And not only that, the whole fight was a movie. So there were fights on the sky, there were fights on the ground, you know? It only makes sense. It only makes sense in my eyes that for part 2 anniversary, I think, hopefully, part 2 of anniversary is Dragon Ball Super Broly. And they're gonna debut the ground mechanic where it's gonna be Broly punching you to the ground, and then he's gonna fuck you up with other green card and blue card animations that are ground specific. That will be freaking amazing. That will be amazing. That's what I think. But let's further dive into this video, because I'm trying to make it to 8 minutes. You know, these bills ain't gonna pay itself. Okay, so another iconic fight that I can think of on the top of my head that could be hype worthy is Goku versus Beerus. Goku, I will not let you destroy my world. Son Goku, okay? From the cave all the way to the sky and all the way to space. But for me personally, God Goku is still in the meta after a whole freaking year. So I feel like it's kind of unlikely. I think the developers are pushing the brakes a little bit on releasing another God Goku to be in the meta. Okay, 2 God Gokus in the meta is they kind of don't want that. So maybe Beerus? Maybe Beerus? Ultra Beerus? And then the ground mechanic gets implemented at the same time, but I'm not too sure. My next theory is Dragon Ball fights, because majority of those fights happen in the World Tournament, and the World Tournament has ring outs, and it's all on the ground. And if not, it's in the sky for a finite amount of time before it actually becomes a fight on the ground again. Therefore, the whole ground mechanic summed up. And I was thinking, maybe that's not hype enough to debut with such a big mechanic, you know? So, but it would still be cool. It would still be cool to see, because remember Ultras? It debuted with just Super Saiyan 1 Goku. I mean, Super Saiyan 1 Goku's hype as shit, but he came out as an ultra free-to-play unit. You know, that's not really the hypest thing. And the fact that he's free-to-play, I don't think he debuted as the #1 unit, because I'm pretty sure you got to grind him to 14 stars pretty hard, I think. So when we got him to PvP, once we got the character to PvP, he was only at 3 stars or something. So of course he wasn't going to be good, as far as my memory could remember. So this could be the same thing, where they're probably just going to debut it and test the waters to see if the community likes it. And if they really like it, and there's like, feedback from the community, what they think is going to be hype or not, they kind of puts the seed on the ground, because the community is going through their crazy shock phase. We're like, oh my god, we have more fights. Oh my god, are they going to do this? And then like time passes, 8th anniversary. You've been speculating, and we delivered. God Goku and Broly, something like that. Maybe. Next, Raditz. The Raditz fight. It could be Feet Ku's biggest comeback special. Okay, Feet Ku, Aleph, Feet Ku could be a thing. I think I said Feet Ku with a little bit too much passion, to the point my subscribers are a little bit suspicious on who I am as a person outside this whole YouTube career. Calm down, guys. Okay, calm down. Don't worry. Okay, so the fight was majority on the ground, and it wasn't really in the sky. It's the whole anime shit where they're like, they're clearly in the sky for like a whole episode, but that's just the whole adapting from the comic book, where they have like 50 pages of speech bubbles when they're in the air. So of course, when they adapt it to the anime, they're in the air for like 20 fucking minutes. So it can't be helped, but they weren't really flying, except for Raditz, I think. But if we have the mechanic where they can transition from the ground to the sky, it doesn't really make sense, I don't know. And another one I can think of is Goku and Vegeta versus Kid Buu and the Supreme Kai planet. Kid Buu, he utilized the ground pretty good, where it was like, I think he kicked the ground and then out came his foot to Goku, like a blind spot thing. I don't know what to call it, but that was kind of cool, and I can see them implementing that. And the other thing I can think of is maybe Cell Games, but we kind of got a Cell Saga campaign recently with Ultra Cell and Instant Transmission Goku, so I kind of don't see that coming anytime soon. And don't you dare say freaking Rathan. We don't need another Teen Gohan in the game for the next 50 years. And of course, the most obvious one, how could I freaking forget it? The Tournament of Power. But the thing is, they don't really continue the same saga to the next segment of the major celebration. They obviously dissect part 1, 2, and 3 with separate movies or sagas. So they're definitely not going to do Tournament of Power again for part 2. Maybe they'll do a Zenkai, maybe they'll release a unique equipment, maybe there'll be a free-to-play unit on a Tournament of Power or Universe Rep character for part 2, but it's not going to be Tournament of Power themed. That's what I'm talking about. So, and with that also being said, what the hell are they going to release? How are they going to top MUI Goku and Evolution Vegeta for part 2 if they're going to implement the ground and sky mechanic? It's not, for me personally, a Golden Frieza and Android 17 will be hype as fuck, but they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna do that. So that is the end of the video. I could be missing one or two things, but here comes the best part. You can comment down and I can see what I missed. So make sure to like and subscribe. Peace.